They said he'd die poor, just another nameless boy from the slums of Mumbai. But he had other plans. He didn't just rise from the dirt. He made the city kneel at his feet. This is the story of a man who took revenge not on a person, but on destiny itself. This is the story of Haji Mastan, the smuggler who turned his sins into salvation. If you've ever been underestimated, if anyone ever told you that you'd never make it, hit that like button right now. Because what you're about to hear is one of the most unexpected, gut-wrenching, and satisfying stories you'll ever come across. In the suffocating heat of Mumbai's Bendy Bazaar, where every breath smells of fish curry and ambition, a boy named Mastan Mirza was born in 1926. His father? A dock laborer drenched in sweat and salt. His home? A single room that leaked every monsoon. But inside that cramped space lived something far more powerful than comfort. Hunger. Not for food, for respect. As a kid, Mastan stole mangoes, not because he wanted to, but because hunger made him do it. And every time the shopkeeper cursed him, he'd whisper to himself, "One day, they'll curse my name for a different reason." That was the first spark of revenge, the kind that doesn't come from hatred, but from humiliation. He wanted to show the world that the boy they kicked around would rise so high, they'd need binoculars to see him. By his teens, Mastan had traded classrooms for the chaos of the Bombay docks. Towering cranes, the smell of diesel, the clang of chains. This was his university. He worked as a porter, hauling sacks of rice and spices until his shoulders bled. But the real lessons came at night from the shadows. He watched the smugglers, men with crisp shirts, golden watches, and police officers in their pockets. They laughed as they slipped contraband through customs, gold, electronics, liquor. They weren't afraid of the law was afraid of them. And that's when Mastan realized, power isn't about who's right, it's about who's untouchable. At 19, he made his first move. A gold chain hidden inside a hollow coconut. A fishing boat bound for Dubai. Heart racing, palms sweating, 500 rupees richer. And for the first time, he felt alive. He had just tasted revenge, the kind you take silently, with a smile. The 1950s. Bombay was booming, and so was Mastan. He built a network of dock workers, fishermen, and middlemen, smuggling gold, silver, electronics, anything that glittered. His name became a whisper on every corner. Inside his mansion in Nagpada, silk curtains fluttered. Chandeliers glowed. Outside, beggars fought over scraps. The same streets that once spat him out now bowed to him. But success has its own poison. With every deal came betrayal. Friends vanished. Rivals plotted. And Mastan began to see blood where there should have been celebration. At night, he'd sit alone, surrounded by cash, and ask himself, was this the dream or the curse? It was 1965. A humid night. Mastan sat counting money under a flickering fan. Suddenly, bang! The door burst open. Karim, his most loyal man, stumbled in. Blood dripping down his forehead. "Boss, they ambushed us near Sassoon Dock. The cops, they're coming." Mastan froze. The air turned heavy. For the first time in years, fear, real fear, clawed at his chest. He grabbed his revolver and ran into the night. The docks were chaos, shouts, footsteps, flashing lights. Then a gunshot split the air. Karim fell. His body crumpled. Blood bloomed across his shirt. Time stopped. Mastan dropped his gun. His knees hit the ground. For a man who had everything, that moment took it all away. That night, he realized he hadn't conquered destiny. He'd become its prisoner. Back in his room, Mastan stared at the piles of cash. His empire. His curse. Karim's voice echoed in his head. The guilt was suffocating. So he made a decision. The same way he once smuggled gold across oceans, now he would smuggle goodness into the world. He began donating, secretly at first. The schools in the slums, mosques for the poor, food for orphans. The underworld mocked him. "Old man's losing his mind," they said. But Mastan didn't care. Because this time, his revenge wasn't against a man. It was against the monster he had become. He wanted to show fate that even from the dirtiest hands, something pure could grow. The 1970s brought a new storm. The government cracked down on smugglers, and Mastana, the king of gold, was finally caught. Arrest, headlines, humiliation. In the courtroom, journalists scribbled as he stood silent, face tired, but proud. He didn't beg, he didn't deny. He simply said, "Everything I did to escape the life I was born into." He went to prison and found something priceless: peace. Behind bars, he wrote letters for flood victims, organized charity, taught other inmates how to survive the system. His revenge had changed form from destruction to creation. When he walked out of prison in 1980, he wasn't the same man. The sharp-eyed smuggler was gone. In his place stood a weary, wiser soul. He entered the film industry, producing movies about crime and redemption, stories that mirrored his own. He used art to tell the truth he lived. One evening, while walking through Bendi Bazaar, a small boy ran up to him, offering a flower. "For you, Haji Sahab," the boy said. Mastana smiled, a soft, tired smile. For once, the city didn't fear him. It respected him, and that was the sweetest revenge of all. In his later years, illness slowed him down, but the fire inside never went out. On May 25, 1994, Haji Mastana passed away. The streets of Mumbai flooded with mourners. The same city that once ignored him now cried for him. A fisherman, casting his net into the Arabian Sea, watched the waves ripple and whispered, "The king of the docks has returned to the water." Because in the end, Mastana's story wasn't about crime. It was about revenge against fate and finding redemption in the ashes of your own darkness. You can't always choose where you start, but you can choose how your story ends. For Haji Mastana, revenge wasn't about blood. It was about breaking the chains life put on him. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button right now and tell me in the comments, do you believe a man like Mastana can ever truly redeem himself? And of course, subscribe for more real-life revenge stories that prove one thing: no fate is final.